Anyway, ready to go?
Yeah.
All right, so you have 3 ranges. You have low, medium, and high.
Okay.
You're going to notice that high range has no power. It's not going to want to go up hills. I doubt that you guys out here are going to use it much.
Okay.
It's really a point A to point B.
All right.
Really fast, but no power.
Okay.
Low range is the exact opposite. Low range is nice, but it is super slow. Tons of power, but it's kind of annoying how slow it is.
Okay, so which knob is which again?
This guy right here.
That's the low, medium,
That's
high.
low, medium, high.
Okay.
And I'll get to this one in a second.
Is that the hydrostatic transmission, the other one?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
So medium range is kind of a happy medium. It's kind of a good place. It goes pretty fast,
Yeah.
but it's got lots of power.
All right.
You're going to find you'll probably leave it in medium 99% of the time.
Okay.
You can even disc and scrape and mow in it. Some people like to disc and low, but you can do almost everything in medium. So
Okay.
it's a good place up here. Okay, so this is technically your cruise control. So the first thing, this is your forward, and this is your reverse.
Right.
But once you take your foot off of that,
Right.
it stops, right?
Right. Yep.
This is a cruise control. So see how that's tied into that?
Yep.
Wherever and it's not going to work right now because the engine's off, but when the engine's on, wherever you leave this, it'll stay.
Okay.
And so if you guys don't really have much of a need for it, but if you had a big field where you were mowing a long straight line,
Right.
and it can start hurting your foot after a while. So instead of just holding your foot down, you just set
You can
this
set
where
that.
you want it and let go.
But normally we're going to use the pedals.
Yeah, and out here, since you guys are on hills, you probably might not use this much.
Right. Exactly.
To be honest with you, but it's there.
Okay.
Right now, there we go. This is in 2-wheel drive.
Okay.
And the reason I just put it into 2-wheel drive, if you pull it up, you're in 4-wheel, down is 2.
Okay.
What all manufacturers tell you is don't drive around all day in 4-wheel drive. Try to keep it in 2-wheel drive until you need 4-wheel drive, basically.
Okay.
It's just easier on the front axle, the front tires, and everything if you
Okay.
leave it in 2-wheel.
All right.
This is your rear diff lock. So these things
so
don't
if you
have
get stuck
positive
in the
traction.
mud?
Yeah, if you get stuck in the mud, one wheel will spin, the other one won't sometimes.
Yeah.
If you hold your heel down on that, that'll lock them both together and spin you out.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you what this is, and you'll probably never use it, but I need to tell you what it is anyway.
Okay.
Well, let me tell you what this is first. This raises and lowers those 3-point arms. So this will raise and lower
Right.
your disc, your mower, your scraper.
Right.
This here is tied into that too, but what that is just your down speed. You can make your mower drop 100 miles an hour. You can make it do this.
Very slow. Okay.
You can adjust your down speed there. It doesn't really adjust your up speed. That's constant.
So are you
But-
basically adjusting the hydraulic pressure or something like that? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And that's just for the 3-point arms.
That's it. That's for the 3. It won't affect your loader or your backhoe. That just is the 3-point arms.
Okay.
This here turns on your PTO. So the nice thing about this tractor is it does not have a clutch.
Okay.
A clutch pedal, I should say. And so you don't have to put down your foot on every other tractor that Kubota makes, just about, not everyone, but all these smaller ones. You have to put your foot down on the clutch, pull a lever. This one, all you do is turn the knob. And it's got to stay there. That will turn on your mower. So that's the only PTO implement you have. But
Okay.
your mower, your drive line hooks up, and I'll show you that in a little bit, hooks up to that spinning gear in the back. That's where you turn that on.
Okay. All right.
And that's where you turn
I
it
think
off.
the other one we had, you had to press the clutch
Most
down
of
and
them
turn it on.
clutch, then lever.
Yeah.
But this one has an electric over hydraulic engage. Real nice.
Yeah. Okay.
The other nice thing that does, like I say, it eliminates the need for a clutch. Most hydrostatics have your brakes there
Yeah.
and a clutch here.
Okay.
And that always upsets people because it's hard to go from here to there sometimes.
Yeah.
And so this is nice. Without the clutch, they're able to move the brakes over here.
Okay. Great.
So that's kind of an advantage on this model.
Okay. There are 2 brakes.
Yeah, right brake, left brake.
Okay. All
Yeah,
right.
and you can unlock them right here. If you want to just use the right or if you want to use the left. Why would you ever want to do that? If you're wanting to turn sharp
Okay.
to the right, you would just put your foot down on the right brake and it'll turn you sharp.
But right now they're locked.
Right now they're locked. You
Okay.
usually, for safety reasons, just keep them locked.
Okay.
If you were sliding down this hill, for instance, you want to put both brakes on instead of one or else it's going to spin you.
Right.
So,
Okay.
okay, so this is where you control your engine RPMs.
Okay.
Couple things.
That's your throttle, essentially.
Yeah, your throttle. And a couple things to know about that. The higher this is, the higher your RPMs,
Yeah.
the faster your loader's going to operate and the more power it's going to have.
Okay.
Same with the backhoe.
Okay.
You're going to notice right here, this is your TAC, your RPMs.
Yeah.
See at 2,600 RPMs, there's a yellow line that says PTO 540 under it.
Yeah.
That's where they want you to run your mower at. So, and we can go over this later, but
Okay.
the first thing you do is you engage the mower at the lowest RPMs. You don't want to engage it high because it's kind of a shock to that gearbox.
Yeah.
Engage it low, and then ease this up to that 2,600 RPMs.
Okay.
Now, I usually recommend when you're doing backhoe work,
Yeah.
it's nice to have it revved up. I usually tell people put it at the 2,600 RPMs also.
Okay.
You'll get a real powerful, responsive backhoe at 2,600.
Okay.
If you have it down at idle, it's kind of sluggish.
Okay.
So 26 is a good place to go. Set it at that, and then get on the backhoe.
Okay. This isn't going to affect anything, is it? That won't leak, will it?
No,
Okay.
it won't.
Okay.
So, turn signals, headlights, flashing lights. These are headlights, flasher lights,
Okay.
turn
Turn
signals.
signals. Okay.
Let me show you real fast how to do the parking brake.
Okay.
See this little knob? See this knob here?
Yeah.
Set the brake, you put your foot down on the brake, push hard, pull up on this,
Yeah.
and then take your foot off, take your hand off, and
It's
it's
locked.
set. To release it, you just kick it.
Okay.
But on these hydrostatic transmissions,
Yeah.
you're going to notice when you're on a hill and you don't set that brake, this thing's going to want to take off on you.
Okay.
Set the brake when you're
Okay.
on a hill. If you're on flat ground, it's not a big deal. Just put the loader down and it'll stay put.
Once you take your foot off the gas, it'll hold it in place, is what you're saying.
What I'm saying is if you shut off the engine
Okay.
and you put the loader down, it'll hold you in place.
All right. Okay. But if you're on a hill and you shut off the engine and put the loader down, you want to put the brake on.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Because it can roll.
It can.
Yeah, okay.
Yes. Okay, let me go over real fast. There are some safety switches on this tractor that
Okay.
you need to know about.
All right.
It'll either kill the tractor on you or it'll prevent you from starting the tractor, one of the two. There's
Okay.
by law that you have to have these safety devices. Number one, if your foot is on this pedal in any way,
Yep.
the tractor will not start. They don't want you to lurch forward or backwards
Okay.
if you're trying to start the tractor
Okay.
for safety reasons.
All right.
Number two, if you're moving, if you're driving along, either forward or reverse, the seat has a safety switch on it. They don't want you out of that seat.
Okay.
If you stand up while you're driving, it will kill the tractor.
Okay.
And if you're sitting still and you're not moving, you can stand up and the engine will remain running. But if
Okay.
you're moving, it'll kill.
Okay.
Secondly, this one tricks a lot of people, and it's tricked me too. This is, I told you, is the PTO.
Yep.
If the PTO is on
Yep.
and you try to start the tractor will not start.
Okay.
And the reason why that tricks people, and I've been guilty of this, you'll be out mowing,
Yep.
you'll come in here, you'll park the tractor. Instead of shutting that off, you just shut the tractor off. You go in, have lunch,
Yeah.
come back out, try to start the tractor. What the heck?
Yeah.
It's not starting. Well, you forgot to turn that off.
Okay.
What they do is just turn that off and it'll start. We get a lot of phone calls on that. It's not a big deal.
Okay.
The third thing is if that PTO is on, again, the seat switch will activate if you decide to stand up.
Okay.
They don't want you standing up. Even if you're sitting still and that mower is on, it's going to kill.
Okay.
So that's it. That's kind of it on the safety switches.
Okay.
The last thing I really need to go over kind of on controls is the smog stuff.
Okay.
And that's the important stuff. Okay, so, and I'm going to show you this in a minute when we get under the hood. but
Okay. You come around
These
this.
tractors now, by law, everything over 26 horsepower by law has to have this.
Okay.
And underneath this screen is a big metal canister, like about this big.
Okay.
And it's called a diesel particulate filter.
All right.
It's what every semi truck has now. Buses have them now. Anything with a diesel engine over 26 horsepower, unfortunately, has to have that by law.
Okay.
How that works is, here's the good news. You don't ever have to take out a filter and clean it. You don't ever have to go to the dealer and buy a new filter and put it in. It should last the life of the tractor, and it is what they tell us it should.
Okay.
But obviously that filters are meant to fill up.
Yeah.
And actually, if you want, can you come over on this side? I have to show you a light real fast.
Okay.
See this top light that looks like smoke coming out?
Yeah.
And I have to keep turning on the key to give you that.
Okay.
See that?
Yeah.
That light's not always on. It only comes on every now and then.
Okay.
And what that light is telling you is the cleaner is coming on. It has a self-cleaner. I call it a burner because what it is doing is it is literally burning out that filter.
Okay.
That's how it cleans it out.
Okay.
It only comes on every now and then. It has a sensor on there. If it senses that the filter's filling up, that
Okay.
light will turn on. Why do you need to know? Well, you don't have to change what you're doing. However, what it's telling you is it's burning that out, which means everything coming out of this exhaust pipe is ultra, ultra, ultra hot.
Okay.
We're talking about a fire hazard at that point. Not if you're going in normal conditions, but if you're going through weeds that are this high,
Yeah.
and you have that hot of exhaust coming out, there could be an issue.
Okay.
So it's telling you, hey, beware. Now, the good news is hey, maybe you're in a acre worth of that stuff and you can't get out. What you can do is, this is an override. Button number 1 is an override.
Okay.
You press that button, it'll turn that burner off.
Okay.
And then you can get out of that field and then press this button again, it'll turn it back on.
Okay.
Now, the good news is this thing has a self-cleaner. The bad news is that self-cleaner isn't 100%. It can't get everything that's going into that filter.
Okay.
And I should have told you this first at the beginning. A diesel engine kind of works opposite of what you would be thinking. A diesel engine at high RPMs, when you're really working the tractor, when you're on the backhoe working it, or you're running the mower, or you're running the disc, you're not polluting that much. It's kind of
It's
weird.
more efficient
It's
because it
more
uses
efficient.
compression.
Yes.
Yeah.
On the opposite, if you're just sitting here idling the tractor, it's polluting a lot if you're not doing much with it.
Right.
And the reason why I tell you that is be mindful of that. If you're going to be sitting here idling, a lot of people will sit here idling, talking to somebody, just shut the tractor off.
Just shut it off. Okay.
Because you have to know this filter can't get everything. So what I'm getting to is, no matter what you do, at some point this filter is going to get 100% clogged. It's going to happen from time to time.
And it needs to be replaced.
No, that's the good news.
Okay.
This could happen. I always get the question, how often is this going to happen? I've seen it happen after a month. I've seen it happen after a year.
Okay.
You don't have to take anything apart, but there is a process you have to do.
Okay.
That's where button number 2 comes in. So what'll happen is the tractor's going to start beeping at you very loudly, and this second button over here is going to start flashing. Good news is, if this tractor's beeping, you know exactly what it's for. This tractor will beep for no other reason. The only reason, and it's a loud, I always get the question, will I hear it? It's loud. It's
Okay.
annoying. It's obnoxious.
Okay.
And you can't miss it. It'll be beeping at you. What that is telling you is this is 100% clogged.
Okay.
And what it's telling you to do is you have to do what's called a parked clean. The book, I think, calls it a parked regeneration.
Okay.
Not a big deal. What you need to do is pull over and do 3 things. You need to set the parking brake.
Okay.
You need to make sure this is idled all the way down to as low as it'll go.
Okay.
And then the third thing is just press that button
While it's running.
while it's running. What's going to happen is, and I told you you're at lowest idle. Right
Yeah.
when you press that button, you're going to hear the engine just take off. Just go all the way up. And it's going to be doing that for about 15 minutes. And it's doing about an ultra burn. You can't get on the tractor and do anything. It'll let you do stuff, but you're supposed to stay still. And it's going to burn for about 15 minutes.
Kind of like a self-cleaning oven.
Yes. And what'll end up happening is you'll hear it wind way down.
Mm-hmm.
And then the beeping and the light flashing will stop. The filter's 100% clean.
Okay.
Now, here's the scary part I'm supposed to scare you with, although this sounds worse than it is, although it's true. The government, in their infinite knowledge, they basically decided, well, people aren't going to care about that beep because it's not hurting the tractor. All it is doing is it's polluting more. People aren't going to pull over and do this clean. They'll just dismantle the beep or let it go till the beeper goes out. So the manufacturers said the government said to all the manufacturers, we want you to program in a kill. If your customer ignores this for more than 15 minutes, we want the tractor to do 2 things. We want it to die, and we don't want them to be able to restart it. We want it to be a pain in the neck. So you have to call a dealer at that point. If you've ignored that beep for 15 minutes and it dies on you, you can't restart it. A dealer has to come out with a computer and restart it for you.
Okay. Wow.
So they're adamant about you doing it.
And do you have to file paperwork with the government too?
No.
Okay.
No, nobody
Check.
gets arrested or written up or anything like that. But the dealer does have to come up with a laptop. It takes us about 45 minutes to reprogram a couple things. It's easy. Unfortunately, we've done it a bunch of times, and these are the only times we've ever really done it. When I have found,
So people just ignored the beep and went right through
well,
it.
not yes and no.
Okay.
What I've found when I sit here and have a conversation with a customer like you,
Okay.
it never happens. But what happens is when we sell these to farmers,
Yeah.
they'll give them to a worker. He may not speak English, or the farmer just might not explain it to him.
Yeah.
The worker just goes off, goes about his day. Here's the beep. Goes, I don't know what the heck this thing is. I'm going to
Just
keep
keeps
going.
going.
Had a lot of that happen. The second thing we've had happen is customers lend these to their neighbors.
Uh-huh.
Forgot to tell it to their neighbor, or they just thought, it's not going to happen to them. It happens to the neighbor. The neighbor goes, I don't know what the heck to do, and just keeps going,
Uh-huh.
and it dies.
Okay.
Those are the only two real instances I've ever seen. Now that you've heard it, I seriously doubt
Right.
you're going to let it
Yeah.
beep for 15 minutes and go, I don't know what the heck to do. So anyway, just tell everybody in the house or tell anybody that you lend this to, if it beeps, probably the best idea is for them to just shut off the tractor and come get you.
I'll just make them watch the training video.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. And so anyway, does all that make kind
Yeah,
of sense?
that makes perfect sense. Yeah.
Okay, so the next thing, unless you had any other questions on the controls, are you familiar basically